Indianapolis has the 5th highest imprisonment rate in the nation for black men born to low-income families. Researchers have found that racial disparities in the Indianapolis criminal justice system are a leading cause. What should be the top priority in addressing racial disparities in the Indiana justice system, and what will your administration do to implement policies to reduce them?
So when it comes to anything that would be a disparity, and again earlier I said anything that's got any component of race, bias, and discrimination, that's got to be rooted out. When it comes to the groups that seem to be disproportionately kind of dealing with those issues, we got to figure out again how we can change that from the grassroots up. But where it would be a case where it is just a practice that's occurring, that's even more shameful and will need to be remediated. How much attention's been paid to that, why that's occurring in Indianapolis as opposed to other places. You know, it's its own jurisdiction, which I think at some point that if you got issues in any part of our state that seem to be a struggle. It happened in Gary, it happened in Muncie when we had to take over those school systems because they just weren't working. And when it comes to our own state capital, it's run as a separate political entity. You'd hope that the broader government would be interested in trying to find out a way to help, even if it's administered through a separate political division. But that, again, is something that you can't stick your head in the sand about. And I would try to find the root cause of it and see what the proper combination of remediation is.
Well, again, I think that, you know, we've talked about a couple of these things that are causal to this. One is how we treat people who use cannabis. Two is the fact that because our state government is focused on spending money in places where they don't need to be spending money, we're not giving people much hope in these areas, especially in the urban areas that we've kind of turned our back on. And we're not encouraging, we're not creating an environment where those economies can be reborn. And one of the things I think, you know, we talk about violence in our cities. And I think that once again, that is a symptom of people who have no hope. And they have no hope because their government has turned their back on them. And because they feel like the government takes and takes and takes, the government is constantly there to try to incarcerate them, and they have no way out. And so we have to refocus our government on reducing government's influence on creating these situations. Because here again, you know, Reagan said two things that I think are really, really poignant today. One is, here again, government is not the solution to the problem. Government is the problem. And the other was that the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Because most often, they're not. And we've got to change that.
Yeah, first it's having a good handle on not just Indianapolis, but the state of Indiana. It's also making sure that we are appointing people that play a huge role in that are competent, that have character, and who are committed to that public service. One of those would be the Indiana State Police Superintendent, who has a huge role in this. And then working with our local officials that also have a huge role in this. So it is a problem. There are a lot of great programs like the Second Solution programs where you're reviewing those sentences and seeing if those long longer sentences could then be, taken down. It's a matter of looking at the biases within the programs and do we see trends in that? And so there's a lot that can be done, but you also, again, it goes back to a state that is willing to have honest conversations at the table and then address it appropriately. So there's a lot of work to be done, but it's going to take, again, state and local and also federal to see what programs out there that are doing a good job in other states as well and learn from those.